if you knew you were enough? What would your life look like? What would love look like? This is the Enough Factor broadcast, where we're redefining what makes you enough in life and in love. Now here's your host, Suzette.
Hello everybody, it's your life coach and relationship solutionist, Suzette Virnon, and welcome to my Enough Factor podcast. I am so grateful that out of all the podcasts that you could be listening to right now, you decided to listen to mine. And if you're new, this is what I want you to know. I am a cycle breaker, a truth teller, and a great love attractor. And I help high-achieving women over 40 to redefine what makes them enough in love so that they can have a different experience, so that they can break the cycle of failed relationships and attract real deal, great love into their lives. And so each week, you'll get content that amplifies your voice, your value, and your vision. Those are 3 critical factors of enoughness that, when amplified and cooperating with one another, oh man, they lead to a more fulfilling experience of life and of love. And for those of you who continue to listen each week, thank you so much. You are the wind beneath my wings. You're the ones that keep me coming back. And I appreciate you so much. Today's episode was inspired, actually. I was on Instagram and one of my friends, Lydia Martin, had this in her stories. And it was 8 things people learn too late in life. It looks like she found it on Entrepreneurship Quote. And when I started reading it, immediately I started thinking about the things that high-functioning women learn too late in life, or learn late in life. I don't want to say too late, because I don't think it's too late until you're at the end of your life. I don't think it's too late. So what I decided to focus on was 8 things high-achieving women learned late in life, that it takes them later in life to learn it. And sadly, some don't learn it at all. And I'm going to go through them pretty quickly because I don't want this to be super duper long. But if you have a question about anything that I share in this, feel free to DM me, meaning direct message me, or send me an email. Different ways to get in contact with me are in the description part of this podcast. So anything that I say that you'd like to discuss further, explore further, feel free to reach out. Okay, I'll be happy to talk with you. So here we go. 1, what happened in the past is past. It's just a memory. And when you understand that it's just a memory, then you think twice about allowing a memory to sabotage your life. You realize that what happened in the past is past. That means it's over. It's done with, kaput. And all you are continuing to rehearse and feel bad about, or let affect your decisions when it comes to love, it's a memory. The bad relationship is over. And even though it was a painful thing to go through, look at you. Yet you remain. And as long as you are alive, there's a chance for you to hit the reset button. Somebody, I can't remember who they were, but I remember hearing someone say, if you can live it up, baby, you can live it down. So maybe in that bad relationship, that really stung and it really shook you. But it doesn't have to define you, right? So that's number 1. What happened in the past is past. Number 2, love wants to love you. That's something that I often tell women who feel like love is the problem. I'm like, no, real love wants to love you. It never wants to harm you or hurt you or bully you or betray you. Love doesn't seek to do that. People hurt people. And wounded people wound people. But love does not hurt. Number 3, romantic love is the most immature form of love. That one I know probably surprises some of you because many of you base your whole happily ever after on romantic love. That love that you think that you're going to meet this person, you're going to fall in love, and you're going to have this great life and all of that. Well, romantic love, though, is very chemically driven and socialization driven. There's a lot of fantasy in it. We fall in love with the flowers and the music and the dancing and the gifts. We fall in love with the way he makes me feel and how we talk on the phone for 4 or 5 hours a night. And I really believe that for many of us, we fall in love with the idea. We fall in love with the feeling of it. But from learning a little bit about neuroscience, I have learned that a lot of the feelings and the ooey gooey and the butterflies and all that is chemically driven, meaning that there are chemicals in our brains that saturate the pleasure centers of our brains. Chemicals like dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin that affect us, that make us feel that euphoria, that high, right? And serotonin is what affects our moods. And oxytocin is known as the bonding chemical, right? And so many times early in our relationships, because we're feeling so much pleasure from the way the person is treating us, the environment that we're in, the romantic dinners and the music and the dancing and the fun and all of that, that's what you fall in love with. And I really believe that a lot of the divorces that have occurred in our lives wouldn't have occurred if we had just waited it out. Many of us got married during the honeymoon phase where we had high hopes. And even if there were signs there, we just, explained them away in our heads, right? He touched us, or he smiled at us, or he told us how important we were to him and how he was looking forward to spending the rest of his life with us. And all of our concerns took a back seat. And so I truly believe that romantic love is the most immature form of love, though it's the most sought after. But those of us who have experienced real deal love don't need the fantasy, because we have found that when you have real deal love, you grow in love with the person. You grow in love with the person, not the fantasy, not the ideal, but the person. The person that's sitting in front of you, that's looking at you. You grow in love with them. And when you grow in love with them, you don't need the fantasy anymore. Do you feel romantic sometimes? Sure, you know how to stir things up, right? But that's not the basis of the relationship. You're not chasing the fantasy. You're not staying in it longer because you're wanting to get back that romantic feeling. You're not chasing the high, right? And so, that's number 3. Number 4, love does not require you to betray yourself to have it. Now, conventional thought is that love means compromise. You have to give up something to have a relationship with someone, and that commitment requires sacrifice. I disagree, because most of the time I've seen that men set expectations and women accommodate them. And sadly, because they do, there's a resentment that happens because they feel like they betrayed themselves. And so I've learned that real love, true love, the kind of love that causes people to be happy with one another and stay with each other for years, grow to love each other more and more, it's not because they compromised to have it. It was just revealed over time. And they didn't have to give themselves up. That's the key. The true essence of who you are. If you have to give up the true essence, what makes you unique, what makes you you, if you have to give that up for love, then I would dare say that's not love at all. Okay? Number 5, love is a choice. Oh man, when I saw that in writing, it was the title of a book, y'all. And just the words written on the cover of that book transformed the way I would see love from that point on. Because prior to that, I didn't know love was a choice. I thought it was something that you just couldn't help, right? You fell in love and you couldn't help yourself. People said the reason they put up with what they put up with and did the things they did was because they were in love, right? And so I didn't realize that love was a choice. But when I read those words, something inside of me stood up. Something stood up inside of me. And I learned that anything that cheats you or takes away from your choice is not love. The loss of your senses and your sensibilities is not love. It is a chemical imbalance. And I told you about that. Those neurochemicals that causes you to crave something, crave an outcome, because you're chasing a feeling, a high. You know, you're chasing, some of us are chasing payback. We want the next man. We judge the next man's ability to love us by him not doing what the previous man did. And so we heap upon him a debt that he didn't create. But y'all, love is a choice. It's a choice. And we need to be able to distinguish between what's really love and what's really pain relief, right? Number 6, the present moment is yours. Now that's a direct quote from the entrepreneurship quote. And I liked it, but I want to give them credit because I saw that and I said, I like that one. The past is gone and the future hasn't happened yet. But sadly, so many of us live in the past or live in fear of the future. And we miss the moment. We miss the person sitting right in front of us right now. We miss asking ourselves, what is it that you want right now? What is it that you need right now? What is it that you're experiencing right now? And be in that moment and trust that all the other moments, that the key to finding out sooner rather than later whether a person is the right person for you is learning how to be in the present moment with that person. And it's not just being in the present moment listening to what they say. It's being in the present moment with yourself, where you are self-aware as you listen to them, as you observe them. You're aware of what's happening in your body. You're aware of when your stomach tightens up because something kind of hit you wrong. You're aware of that feeling that you got when they said something and the energy that came with it, instead of trying so hard to have high hopes. You know, sometimes we override our intuition because we want an ideal so badly. And when we focus on the pain, we miss things. And when we focus on the future, we miss things. The only thing that you really have is the present. And your present, if you stay present in it, if you stay self-aware, if that becomes your focus where you're very aware, You're very engaged in this present moment. That's a gift. It'll give you all the information that you need. It truly, truly will, because it keeps you awake, right? And so I agree with it. The present moment is yours. If you're looking for love, if you want true companionship, it's in the present moment. Just continue to be in the present moment. And that's what I help my clients to do. When they go off into the past, being afraid of the past, or what I told myself that I wasn't going to deal with this again, that's when they're being haunted by the past, and the past is ruling them. Or the people that's saying, I'm just scared, what if this doesn't work? Then they got this future dread. What if this doesn't work? What if I've wasted my time? That's all future dread. So when I find my clients in the past or fearing the future, my job is to bring them back to the present. What is the present trying to teach you? What is the present saying to you? What is your present feeling? What is the present? What is your present experience of this person? And we deal with the present. Okay? Number 7, it's not personal. When I was first seeking to get certified as a relationship coach, one of the central things that they told us, they said, foundationally, we want you to always remember this in your relationship coaching. When you coach people that bring you their relationship woes, their issues, their whatever they're going through, the things they want you to coach them through, is to understand it's not personal. One of the main things you have to help your clients to understand is it's not personal. Very seldom does a man, or a woman for that matter, set out to hurt you. They don't just sit somewhere and say, I think I'll hurt her. I think I'll break her heart. That's what I do. So let me find some poor schlup, and I'm going to break her heart, and I'm going to enjoy it. Very seldom, unless they're a psychopath or a sociopath, like they got some serious mental health issues, like serious. Most of the people that we have been hurt by didn't mean to hurt us. That was never their goal. It was never their intention. Most folks are not that vicious or conniving or malicious. Most folks are just seeking pain relief, or they're just living out the energy that they grew up in, so it's familiar to them. Many of us want better. Most folks want a better experience of their relationships. They truly do. But for a lot of people, they just don't know how to do it. And so they get triggered, and they get spooked, and they get scared, and they react the only way they know how to. What I've learned is usually what's happening is either lust-driven or love-driven. Lust offers pain relief. Love offers healing. That's how you can tell the difference between the two. That's how you can tell. So, number 7, it's not personal. And this is something that I talked about in my Love on Your Terms masterclass that really resonated with the ladies. I said, when you're wondering why it happened, the truth is it happened because it happened. And you have to be at peace with that. Because very few of us get a chance to go back and talk to the persons that hurt us. Very few of us. And even if we do talk to them, they're going to only give us their understanding of the moment. And it's only their understanding, their perspective, their experience. But it doesn't mean that you need to change something. Sometimes there is a blind spot that other people see better than you see. But the other side of the coin is, I found that the very things that the men in my life, the Mr. Wrongs in my life criticized about me, my Mr. Right loves it. And I'm so glad that my efforts to change who I was didn't last. I couldn't do it. I could not change who I was. And I'm so glad. That's why I'm experiencing great love now, because I get to be who I am and know that I'm deeply and richly loved as I am. My husband doesn't seek to change anything about me. I would dare say he would be like, no, I don't want you to change. I love you the way you are. And so I just wanted to make sure I let you all know, number 7, it's not personal. And number 8, there are more good men in the world than you know. There are. And I know that we keep hearing about shortages. That there's a shortage of good men. But I don't believe that. I don't care what the statistics are saying. Love does not care. Love does not read statistics. It only comes when it's called. That's it. That's it. Love recognizes love energy. And when love picks up love energy, that's when it's being called. Love calls love. Love responds that way. Love doesn't respond to statistics. Love couldn't care less. Love does not say, oh, well, because there's a shortage of men, let me do this. Love doesn't care. It only answers when called. And what I found, listeners, is this. It's not even a matter of whether there's a shortage of good men. I've already said I don't believe that that's the case. But I do believe there's a shortage of good women that recognize them. I do. I do believe there's a shortage of good women that recognize them. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I help women to discover their own enoughness, their own value. And when they can see themselves as valuable and lovable, then it's easier for me to help them to recognize men who see them as valuable and lovable. Right? It's easier for me to teach them what I've learned, that I've sat under really, really good men who have taught me how to recognize them, how to discern. It's so much easier to equip a woman with the insights and tools that she needs if she already has a foundation of loving herself, of having resolved the issues from the past. She knows why she's enough. It's much easier to teach her what daddy didn't teach and mama didn't know. And it's easier to help her to recognize good men, to help her to learn to speak male. Yeah, that it is a second language. And I've learned that the women who are most successful are women who understand the language. They understand. They understand men. And so that's what I do in my coaching program, is I help women build. First of all, I help them to discover what makes them enough. Then I help them to build on that. Because your enoughness has to be your foundation if you want great love. And I don't know anybody that I've ever talked to that didn't want great, that said, well, I'll just settle for any man. Not women over 40. They're like, no, I don't want the same thing I had before. I want better. I want better. And that's what I do. I help those women that want more to experience it and to feel like they deserve it when they get it and to have the skills necessary to keep it. Yeah? Isn't that cool? I love that. So anyway, I just want you all to know that I appreciate you, the women that came to the Love on Your Terms Masterclass a couple of weeks ago. No, it was a week ago, actually, because this is my first podcast since then. I want you to know y'all are phenomenal women. And I will say, without any hesitation, that was the baddest masterclass this side of heaven. And you are the baddest women this side of heaven. And I know there's some more of you out there that's like, oh my God, I didn't know there was a masterclass. I missed it. Oh man. Or some of you that signed up for it, but you had something to come up and you weren't able to come to it. Oh man, don't you worry about that. Don't you worry. I really believe sometimes life is super duper kind and gives us an opportunity for a do-over, right? So as I bring this to a close, I want you to know that you are worthy. You are worth it. You are more than enough. Bye now.
You have just listened to the Enough Factor podcast with your host, Suzette Vernon. To get notified of new episodes or to dig deeper into today's topic, become a subscriber. And while you're at it, tell us how we're doing and what topics you're interested in. We appreciate your feedback and your reviews. Until next time, remember, you are worthy, you are worth it, you are enough.